Hopefully the voiceover that I'm recording right now is not too obnoxious. I have a batch of chips that I'm making in my dehydrator right now, and it's sitting roughly 1.5 feet away from me, but it's super quiet most of the time, so I'm not sure if my microphone will even be picking it up right now. This is my blog for this week. I am starting it out with the super thrilling footage of this insect that I found on the wall like a week or so ago. I thought that it was just kind of cool looking, and I was also kind of amused just because this building tends to be really clean. They have an exterminator that comes through once a month. This is literally the first insect I've seen inside my apartment in the 2 years that I've already been living here. So I'm not really sure how it got in, but here it is. Okay, so I feel like this isn't gonna work very well. So fun fact about me, that's probably going to annoy the like 3 male viewers that I have, and maybe inform future female viewers that I might have. So I've been on birth control since I was a teenager. Whatever. My old birth control used to do really good at helping to keep my skin pretty clear. And then a year ago I switched to an arm implant, which I like dealing with a whole lot more, but the one downside is the hormones are different. So my face breaks out when I'm hormonal? I don't know. So I have this like pimple that came up under here. It was one of those annoying pimples that wasn't really coming to a head, and I'm the kind of person that just can't leave things alone. Like, I haven't been bothering these, but I have 1 or 2 spots that are coming up, but like I have like a big one up here that I couldn't leave alone because I'm just that kind of person. So I've been pestering this one, and I wanted to do a vlog update because I've been slacking now that my laptop is back, but I didn't want to put makeup on it. So I thought it'd be better to put a sticker on it, except I didn't have a sticker. So my sticker became a piece of paper that I drew a smiley face on and stuck to some Scotch tape and stuck to my face. Like a complete fucking weirdo, and I like this better than just putting my blemish on there. Except now I can't stop touching it because as I'm talking the tape is kind of de-sticking a little. I'm getting tired. Let's see. I had a super productive couple of days. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but I have my dehydrator running in the background. I made some sweet potato chips the other day, and I'm making more today, and I threw some apple chips in there. I did some experimental beef jerky with some ground beef that getting a little questionable in the fridge because I let it sit for too long, and that went a lot better than I thought it would. I just had breakfast. Didn't get any footage of it, but it was a homemade hash brown, an egg, and some sauteed spinach, a little bit of melted cheese on the potatoes. Delicious. But I'm still hungry, so I'm probably gonna eat the last 4 barbecue wings that we had for dinner the other night. Don't know if my arm's getting tired and I'm trying to like get comfortable here. I don't know if Nopo will be upset if I eat the wings or not, but he was supposed to eat them for dinner last night while I wasn't home and he didn't, so that's his fault. That's his fault. I have some work this weekend, and then I'm debating forcing myself to getting back to streaming on Twitch. Just haven't been in the mood to get back to that. I think this homemade sticker is absolutely hilarious, right? This little spot doesn't bother me, but this thing is, Thought that this is a life-shattering moment, but while I was removing my wings out of the toaster oven, I dropped one of them on my thumb. Now my knuckle has this angry little red spot on it that hurts a lot worse than it looks. So that's a fun update to my day. Please excuse the random bits of food that I may or may not have dropped from breakfast on my couch cushion. Thanks. because it's casting a shadow, you're not really going to be able to see it very well. It's making it a little bit grainy, but I have apple chips and the sweet potato chips in there. The sweet potato chips have a couple of random spots on them that are just browning from exposure. Nothing to really be worried about. Normally the dehydrator smells really good when I'm doing stuff in it, but because this one is a mixture of fruits and veggies, it actually smells quite odd, and I'm not a huge fan. Oh, I'm that jerk that forgot to film sideways on my phone. The apple chips are pretty basic. I did them on a mandolin, and I put some spices on them for flavor. The sweet potato chips are just done in oil and salt. These weird dark spots on some of them are pretty much the result of just damage to the outside when I was prepping them. Like this was the end piece when I was slicing it on the mandolin, and the mandolin has this handheld thing for you to push across when you're finishing up, and it tends to damage the one side. Other ones, I'm not 100% sure why they're doing that. It might also just be that that particular part reacted differently to the heat from the dehydrator. I've eaten them. They've never really bothered me. This is balanced very poorly. They take several hours to fully crisp up into chip form, but they are delicious. The other fun project that I did today was, as I mentioned in a previous recording, and I don't remember if it made it into a video somewhere, I made some quinoa bark. So this is probably hard enough now that I could take it out and break it up, but it's just chocolate and toasted quinoa. This is the remains of a chocolate frog that came from Harry Potter World back in like May on one of Nopo's trips. Oh, I can't really break it out with my finger. I'm trying to like get a little piece of a corner off. Oh, there we go. It's almost like homemade Crunch Bar. I don't think it's quite been in there long enough to be 100% perfect because it's falling apart in my finger quite easily. Well, I wanted to taste it. Ooh, I like that. This is literally just a homemade Crunch Bar, but it has a toasted flavor to it. Ooh, that's really good. I'm gonna have to buy chocolate. Make a bigger batch of that. Oh, there's a lot of toasted quinoa on it though, so it's a little bit more dry than I thought it would be. But this light situation is not great. Toasted quinoa tastes pretty good. It doesn't really have much of a flavor, but it has like a nutty undertone to it. I want to eat more of that, I'm not gonna lie. But I should probably be healthy and eat the barbecue wings first. Not that they're overly healthy, but they're better than quinoa chocolate bark. I don't know. Does the quinoa bark sound interesting? Maybe? I don't know. I guess comment if you want me to make a video about making that. This isn't really going to be a cooking channel. I think it's going to end up being a vlogging / knitting channel, but considering this channel is called MsBitters IRL, I mostly want to focus on stuff that I actually do in my everyday life outside of my content creation. Even though the irony of that is that this is more content creation. Figure that one out. Oops. Oh, that sucks. Okay, you're probably wondering why I'm poking this weird-looking eggshell. I'm a pretty crafty individual. I try to do as much stuff as I can on my own and from scratch. So I recently made a quite large batch of bone broth. Well, it's more like a stock, but that's a completely different story. I made bone broth recently and vegetable broth, and that left me with a lot of scraps afterwards, and I was going to dehydrate them, which I did, and then I ground them up into a powder, and I included this eggshell in the dehydrator and the ground up substance so that I could kind of use it like a homemade fertilizer of sorts for a few houseplants that I have. I left this eggshell sitting out overnight after I had baked with it, just to kind of let it dry out before I tossed it in the dehydrator and ultimately the powder. Sitting out overnight, it kind of dried that air sac that's on one end of the egg, and I was very surprised to find it in this way, and I was kind of playing with it for video footage when I accidentally broke it, and here we are. I don't think I've ever done quite so many voiceovers in a video before. It feels really weird. I was playing Pokemon Go the other day, and I had this very funny berry glitch, which this is not the first time it's happened, but it's the first time that I thought to screen record it. This is kind of what happens if you attempt to use a berry at the same time a Pokemon flees from a capture event, and it kind of makes the berry stick on the screen, and I just kind of find it very amusing because it looks like this giant sinister berry is attempting to hunt down your character, and I don't know, just find it amusing. This other picture is a very awkward ad that I found on Instagram one day, and I remember seeing this ad and immediately thinking, oh my, this person looks like they've hung themselves, and I was very confused about this ad, and then I was looking in the comments, and it would appear that all of the people who had took the time and the effort to comment on this ad also thought that it looked like, you know, the person in this image had hung themselves, and it was really awkward, because I think they were trying to give the illusion of, like, I don't know, levitating or something weird like that, you know, being all something or other about the fragrance lifting you off the ground. I don't know, it was weird. And then the hallway, as you can see in this clip here, I'm not sure what happened. It was a normal day. This is the hallway leading from the outside of my building to the stairs to go upstairs. And I was coming out to walk a dog, and there was a gentleman that came up the stairs, so he clearly saw this. I had not seen it yet, but a gentleman comes up the stairs, says hi to me, goes up to the 3rd floor. I proceed to go down the stairs with this dog, and I noticed this immediately. So this one guy saw this. I don't know what happened. I don't know who threw this down the hallway. It's this random box that sits next to our mailboxes for the apartment, which are the little metal ones, like inset in the wall. We get a lot of junk mail and former resident junk mail, so everyone in this building seems to dump all of their junk mail in this box that sits on a little table by the mailboxes. Apparently somebody got really annoyed with the box and decided to just throw it all over the hallway, and I don't know why. And the guy that came up the stairs before I left clearly saw it and just left it there, and I had a dog with me that was super anxious to get outside and go for a walk, so I had to leave it behind. And then when I was coming back into the building right before I took this video, another girl that lives in the building had left, so she clearly saw this in the hallway and left it. When I came back in, I took the video really quick because I was confused and amused that so many of us were walking by this mess and just leaving it, but nobody really wants to clean up a mess that they didn't make, I guess. I was trying to get the dog back upstairs because it's this, like, 12-year-old elderly man dog that I'm watching, and he has kind of a hard time getting up the stairs, so I was more focused on getting him in my building and safely up the stairs to consider this mess. By the time I left the next day, it had been picked up, so I'm not really sure who finally decided to be the adult in the building, but somebody did.